Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, June 27, 2021, Sunday, your resting day, but not my resting day. Got up early morning to disturb you. Thank you very much for being disturbed. Keep sleeping, have dreams, no problem. Title of talk being Civil Field Engineering, COVID-19, HSC Engineers, Role within COVID-19 and Safety, Designs, Construction Methods, Contracts, Organizations, and that's requirement, and there are many other certificates like corporate membership. This says your corporate charter member of institution, which gives you a privilege to use title chartered engineer India or whatever else. And also then there is membership, there is, you can say, chartered engineer certification, and there's some competency certification like professional engineer and your international professional and quality is major issue. Because of quality we are here. I always stress on quality, which is very important point in life. uh, I don't know what's happened. it's uh, it's easy to say, but it's not easy to say. You can say that we have this and we have that. We should be very serious about this issue, and if you are not serious, that's the point you have to consider. In fact, we talk of we talk of life, we talk of engineering, we talk of works, and we talk it in COVID-19. I should say currently alpha, beta, gamma, delta, lambda. You know that we started with COVID-19, coronavirus infection disease 19. It was started in 2019. We know that. I see, you know, respiratory system affected because of COVID-19. Beta, I think Africa. Same way, delta means Delhi or Bharat, India, and gamma and lambda now again from Africa. So people are learning something that never, ordinary people never got access to that type of mathematical information. Quality and safety, health, environment, supported by economics. Quality is very important issue. I I read one message from someone, engineer, about quality on structural engineers forum. Engineers are very much integral people. They have integrity. They work a lot. They stay day and night during concreting operations. They check everything, this and that. Okay, fine. That is job. You are not doing anything special. I am an engineer. I don't claim this as my credit because that's my job. as as you know, as a working engineer, whether I'm in designs or I'm construction or I am in coordination or I am somewhere in contracts or I am somewhere else, everywhere it's engineering subject. If I say, oh, I'm a designer, it doesn't mean anything. You are engineer first. I say I'm a side guy. No, I'm engineer first. Now it is a specialization. You are design specialist or construction specialist or contractor specialist, engineering specialist. Engineering, there's a confusion in people. When I say engineering means complete technical coordination work. Engineering is also referred to mechanical, electrical engineering because engineering is very, very different. Engineering or engineer means a different. This is sometimes used as verb. This is sometimes used as not verb, but title, noun. Oh, you are an engineer, so this is noun. Oh, this work is to be engineer means this is verb. So we have to differentiate between that. Now somebody told that some are born engineers and some are not born engineers, but some are made engineers and some are qualified engineers. Now it's up to you how can you classify. But my classification is completely different, and I say engineer means to do something based on thoughts, not without thoughts, without thinking. If you think something logically you think something, you understand something, you learn something, you do something in compliance to that logic, I call it engineering. I don't care for education first. Sometimes a baby is also an engineer. As you said, a bird is an engineer, sparrow is an engineer, crow is an engineer, all that. Okay, that's fine to understand, but I say nature is an engineer first. Because we are living in earth and it's a part of nature, it's a part of solar system, it's a part of universe. So if there is no universe, had been no universe, how would you have been staying here? That's my question. Had there been no universe, how I would have stayed here? Because there was no earth. If there's no earth, so you can't stay able to stay in here. It means we have to go to origin of universe. When it happened, I don't know, but it might have happened sometimes. God has created solar system. How many solar systems? The God knows. I don't know. And how this solar system has been working since it was installed, or commissioned, I should say, commissioned. Still it's been working, and we call universally it's been working without stoppage. There's no stop. It goes on and working, like our respiration system goes on until we leave this body. Until I leave this body, my system has to work. It's like universal arrangement. My respiration never stops. That's beauty of quality and continuity. And someone say, okay, go and take rest for 2 days, don't come and don't respire. Is it possible? It's not possible, because mechanism doesn't stop. Body doesn't stop, mind doesn't stop. So nature doesn't stop. We never stop, body never stops, but we just relax. That's all. So I define engineering in that way. Engineering must have input of quality, engineering must have input of HSE or SHE, engineering must have input of technology, engineering must have input of common sense, engineering must have input of practicality, and not only hypothetism. Hypothetism goes to science. They have to take care of that. As an engineer, we have to deliver results. We have to deliver something for which responsibility is given to us. That is engineering. Engineering is not limited, it is unlimited. When you refer universe construction as engineering, you can say there is nothing left. How sun was constructed, how planets were constructed, how this earth was constructed, how these stars and skies and all those were constructed. You can't just take that as poetry. No, that is physique, that is physical. We have to realize this. That's a structure. It's other than structural engineering. It's superstructural engineering. It is top structural engineering that God did and proved. It's still working, There's no time limit for this. We have to understand all this. If we want to understand nature, if we understand ourselves, we have to understand who created us. I don't say think of faith or think of something religiously. No, not at all. We have to think scientifically. Who is that? What that person should be? Can we can we can we work as that person worked? That's what I say. It is always easy to criticize. It's always easy. It's always easy to appreciate. But it's very difficult to comply with. It's very difficult to comply with. If I have to comply with some requirement, means first I should know requirement. And if I don't know requirement, I have to define requirement. Defining requirement is also engineering. Complying with requirement is also engineering. One is design engineering and one is specification of design engineering and other one is prosecution engineering or implementation engineering or executive engineering. It depends upon how you define, but everywhere it works, it works, it works. Nobody can say no, we have to work. We have to work, that is a very important point. And if we can't work in either way, neither is superior, I'm telling, neither is superior. Innovation is also part of engineering, design is part of engineering, theory is part of engineering, work is part of engineering, development is part of engineering, construction is part of engineering, learning is part of engineering, teaching is part of engineering. If you go like that, you will find different way. Now we are talking of COVID-19 these days. Delta has come and this and come. This all references, referral. Actually, it is same in variance of its quality. You can say, I can say now quality. It is improving its quality day by day. Time it came. Now they say when it started, if it was 100, when it started 100 and 50% more it became when Kent, Alpha came. Kent Alpha means UK Kent Alpha. So it became 150. Means it was promoted by Alpha from 100 to 150 means 50% increase. And now they say, means it was 50, now Delta is much more powerful than that. They say now it is 40% more or 50% more than that in action. So you can say if it was 100, this means 50 plus 50, 100 more. See, likewise you can define only. Nobody knows truth. Nobody knows facts. This is all secret. We can blame either this and that. Leave. This is not blame game for me. I am talking in real world. We do not know something. When we do not know something, we want to blame others. And when we know something, we want to have credit of that. This is human weakness. And that is what COVID-19 tells everybody. Think of something more important than what you have done and you are. It has told us your standard, your character, your knowledge is very, very limited. Very limited. This is what COVID-19 says, or unknown world, unknown action, unknown disease says. COVID-19, corona infection, coronaviral infection disease, which we call COVID-19 because it started in 19, and all arguments and this reason and that reason. Till now there has been no conclusion, despite there are hundreds and thousands of scientists all over the world, lakhs and lakhs of doctors all over the world. It doesn't mean I'm blaming them. Question is, if we are so behind we can't even understand what's happening, this means COVID-19 is something else. It's not what we think. It's power of God is playing, is teaching its kids, and that is all. Only what we can do to protect ourselves, we can resort to safety engineering. We can keep ourselves safe. We can keep ourselves safe, and thereby we keep our health safe and our environment safe. Or we don't have any other solution. That is our weakness. We could not find, despite being thousands of doctorate in sciences, world has failed This means still our education is well behind mark. We can say you may be qualified from whoever university, doesn't mean anything if you are not able to solve issues. Hit and trial and error or doesn't mean science. Vaccinations are also defeated. They were all arise, oh, we got vaccination, we will save against this. See, vaccination also failed. Many doctors after being vaccinated have lost their lives in Indonesia. Now I just heard in France what's happening. 10 people have died, some people have died of Delta. A vaccine or no vaccine doesn't matter. Question is, Delta is super, COVID is super, it's much more super than what we are. COVID maybe it's knowing our secrets, but we do not know COVID secrets. That point we have to understand. Means our sciences are far behind than God's commands. God's commands. When God does something against its kids, against its children, this means God intends to teach us by certain mishappenings, we call it, COVID-19 like situation. But don't forget, God has to protect earth, God has to protect humanity, and everybody is not bad, God also knows. There are a few people who are good also, but majority of people in the world at this stage, in 2021 I can say, are corrupt, are liars, don't speak truth, they want just to make money. Money, I think, has become ultimate destination of humanity, but they do not know whose money it is. Got my point? You may be billionaire, trillionaire, whatever you are, your hunger for money does not quench. That is now status. But God has given us fixed money, and we are just, everybody is interested to get more and more and more. And this more and more and more is very risky. It's very risky because it doesn't allow you to become human. It allows you to be robber, to be dacoit, to loot this earth. For what? You also don't know. Everybody wants to accumulate wealth. Everybody wants to use wealth as power. Every country wants to do that. All politicians want to do that. Nobody wants to serve humanity. That's also true. Politics is number one everywhere because they rule in that area. But they forget this is not permanent. They are not going to stay permanently, and they think they are permanent. Like China president, he has fixed his tenure for long. Like Russia president does then. It happens. You instead of becoming human being, you start becoming devils. You start becoming God. It doesn't work. We have to take into relation of human being. This is not your earth. Remember, I am telling everybody, this is not your earth. This is God's earth. You are only a passenger for few years. And that's what COVID is teaching you. You are not owner of this property. This property is not yours. You're just availing services of this party and leaving. That's all. And that's why crores of people have lost their lives. They were all not poor, they were riches also. This is for God, rich or poor, doesn't make any difference. Once you leave this planet, money or no money you had, it doesn't mean anything. Once you leave this body, money or wealth you accumulate doesn't belong to you. It goes out of your ownership because this body itself is not your ownership. This body also is out of date, it's thrown, it's trashed once you die. Therefore, we have to learn lessons. And that lesson is of how to lead life with quality in satisfactory manner, with health in satisfactory manner. We are very, very interested in health. See, everybody is behind, I want vaccination. Why do you want vaccination? My question is that. Because you want to take precautionary measures so that COVID-19 may not impact you. That is the only reason, nothing else. Means you are still worried about your health despite being dishonest, despite being liar, despite not worrying about natural wealth, despite not worrying about this planet, despite not worrying about humanity. You have killed millions and millions and you want to protect yourself. There have been instances, people are being killed, wars go on. Means They don't consider humans. The humans, it may be Israel, it may be Palestine, it may be Hitler time, it may be other time, it may be many other areas in this world. Human relations have died. All are human, you should not forget. 8 billion human, and then animals and birds and other creatures, all. Everybody has a right to live, right to survive, right to thrive up. But who bothers? We kill birds, we kill animals, we eat, we enjoy. We try to loot all natural resources from earth. We have extracted billions and billions and trillions of oil, kiloliters of oil, fossil fuel from earth, and still we are not happy. We want more and more and more. Again I say, more and more and more. You can't get quality anywhere because you don't have inbuilt quality in your body. If you are always greedy, avarice, you want to get more, you are not a quality person. I don't understand why do you want to get more when you have to go one day. Why you want to accumulate? Somebody says, oh, he is number one in world, he has so much wealth. All right, he has wealth, what to do? What I do with that? Whose wealth is this? Did he bring with him? No. He didn't bring, nobody brings any wealth when you come. But still you believe wealth is more important than character, wealth is more important than your love. Means you convert everything into wealth, value. That's why I say quality has also become like that. We have spoiled quality everywhere. It is international now, it's not only national issue. Yes, of course, international issue is not that much powerful as national issue, because in many parts of world quality is still observed. Maybe it's not to that extent, but still they try to observe, except in our country and many other countries. When I relate it to COVID-19, COVID-19 clearly says that you are much behind in health services according to our population and also according to the population of other countries. Health services which were boosted, which were claimed, oh, such a health service in this country and that country, all have flopped. I'm not blaming doctors. Doctors are very good. They are human servers. But what shall doctor do if equipment are not available, if facilities are not available? It's not job of doctor to arrange for that. It's job of those people who never ever have any qualification. They only just come to positions by vote of people. And they then forget. They forget vote of people. Once they get these votes, they forget them. They consider them servants. They consider nothing, This all politics all world like that. In our country too, it's very much that. They don't bother about people for whom they have to serve. They have to serve them, it's their job, but they don't serve them. There's this political scandal, this is politics, You get votes and get lost. That's all. They say, I don't care for you. Means there's no quality. There's no service quality in our consideration. Engineers, who are agents of change, who are supposed to do quality work first, safety work first, but they only complain. Whom do you complain? I ask every engineer, whom do you complain? You are complaining to yourself or you are complaining to your work? Whom? I am complaining because I am finding that problem. I am finding that problem. Every day I find it. At least engineers, they work on projects, they work on designs, they work on executions, they work everywhere, they work in maintenance. It is their job to do quality work. Why should someone tell them? And why should they worry about someone? It's their job, they should do it. But unfortunate it is, they talk only. I don't know what's fear in them. Fear of honor, of project, fear of business people, or fear of what? Means if I am not able to do engineering with free mind, with free will, of course under limitations, but if I don't do my job, I can't say that I am an engineer. I consider engineering not a profession. Remember, I don't think that engineering is just exchange of money. I've done this service, give me money. I'm not living for money alone. Money is one requirement. But there are many other requirements which I have to serve and I have to fulfill. But it rarely happens. University education doesn't refer to quality, unfortunately. It doesn't put element of blood in our quality system. Our bloods are not given quality power in our education system, and not only here, everywhere. We have to learn all subjects, about 35 to 40 in engineering education. Those subjects give no value except some design part or except some other part. You may say up to 20 to 25% of those syllabus we learn in 5 or 4 years. 75% is no use. It may be useful sometimes, it may not be useful, but in daily routine it's not useful. We have to do as an engineer, we have to understand details, and before that we have to make details. We have to generate details, and depending upon requirement, depending upon economy, depending upon whatever factors we can see, knowledge areas we consider, that part of engineer is very important. If I am an engineer, it means that I am qualified for something, and if I am not expert, at least I can start something. I can make mistakes and learn something. Means I can plan something and do something, and for that doing I need resources. I need material, I need machine, I need whatever. I may require every material, every resource. That is much important, much more important. And I say engineers must realize quality facts, and in particular, civil engineers have to change quality aspect of society, or else quality cannot exist. That's a fact, because it is civil engineer who starts something. It is civil engineer who starts, from soil, who starts from kachra or from rubbish or from sewage, who starts from dirt and dust. It is civil engineer who starts from no standard of living. You won't find civil engineer wearing suit in field or tie in field. You won't find that, because that's impossible. Yes, in certain cold climate you may say, but in general, when you are dealing with soil, dust, concrete, mortar, all these which pollute environment, in fact. To be very frank, we are sometimes not environment friendly, but that's life, development. You have to develop. In that case, I can say job of engineer is of course difficult. I understand that, particularly that person who has to work in physical world, who has to deal with physical world, that's on sites or construction or in factory mechanical engineers or somewhere else electrical engineers and all other engineers. They use mathematics, they use physics, chemistry, they use applied mechanics, they use material science, they use structural engineering, they use machine designs, they use so much, so they use, and it depends on which field you work in and you deal with that. They do this. They are designers, they are plotters, they are fabricators, they are site engineers, they are whatever you can name, and they are branches of engineering. How many branches? Generally we have specified 15 branches, but more can be, and there can be, if there are 10 subjects in one, let us say 150 subjects are there on let us say 10 on average basis, which are practically used. So that is 150 subjects. That's whole world of engineering, all over world. We move like that. But my relation to COVID-19 says that Delta, that is more than twice effective if you relate it to original COVID-19, is very dangerous in a sense that we have no solution till now. Vaccinations have failed in this regard, particularly. Whatever vaccinations we got in China, we got in somewhere else, to an extent, this Delta detected in our country, Bharat, India, is very, very active, very dangerous, very powerful, and we have to be ready for that. Engineering is wide profession. Every engineering discipline has importance of safety, importance of health, importance of environment. If we can't understand these, we cannot be engineers. We cannot be. Having degree doesn't mean you are an engineer. That is only identification. That's only gateway how to enter, how to do. But real engineering is experience. Real engineering is knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean book knowledge. Knowledge means working knowledge. After degree passing or diploma passing, what experience you attained, what do I know, what do you know, how best we can understand a problem, and how best we can input solution of that problem is very important task. Very important property which you call thinking or assimilation, you may say, or scientific management, you can say, in your mind. That is thinking. Thinking is you can say root of engineering, root of life. Everywhere, if we can analyze our problems, certainly we can find solutions. There may be many analyses in one problem, and we have to do that. Just like we analyze structural engineering forces, what we are going to build, what we want to build, the building we want to build, or flyover we want to build, or something else we want to build. We have to study adjustments. We have to study system of mechanism that transmits forces or loads from one point down to foundation and soil. Just to know force in each member. There are methods we have in engineering. Means what load we should take, what material load we should take, material unit we should take, what density we should take. All are given. All are not to be remembered, but these are given. And we do them calculations. We find force in every member, actions in every member, in whatever units. We calculate, and we then say we have to provide this much strong material here, this much strong unit, strong member here, so that it can withstand those forces from every direction. Whatever force, wind force, earthquake force, life force, dead force, persistent force, technical, accidental force, whatever force is expected to be imposed on that member, we work out. And that is basics of design. It may be directly done or maybe through software, that's your choice. If you do directly, you are more intelligent, I think, you are more active, because when you can think without aid of software, you are real design engineer. I would say you are designer, you are practicing engineer, real practicing engineer. Same thing I can say to site people. Okay, plan is something, schedule is something, that's one part of documentation. You have to do it, but real work comes to site from your daily requirements. It's not necessary all time you sit on analysis, or you can say I sit on this schedule and I see each and every part of schedule. No, you won't do that. That's not intellectualism. That's not engineer. That you drive your own schedule for reference only. But your time remains same and you have to finish that job. That's more important. Rather than just to stick on to that plan. You can change plan every day to requirement, if it as much as possible you can do. Analysis of activities itself is important. Analysis is something you can say like kid calculation. I want to understand what is 3, I don't know meaning of 3, say. So I should say, you have to have 1, then you have to learn 2, then you have to learn 3. That is sequence. It comes that way. There is no argument on that. Argument is on quality. Argument is on safety. We heard news, this building collapsed in USA. This building collapsed in Italy. This building collapsed in our country, Delhi, Bharat, or somewhere city else, other city. We always say how these buildings collapsed. This means it's not question of quality alone. There may be many mechanisms working around that, and it happened to be one of them. Integrity is one part. Honesty is another part. Determination is also one part. Commitment is also one part. How you want to move yourself. You see, engineering is not new. It has been there for millenniums. And as I said, God started this universe. That's also engineering project. God itself is an engineer. God is a doctor. God itself is, every professional. God knows every profession. Only we know little and we boast a lot. We boast a lot. We are not able to understand Earth. We want to move to moon. We want to move to sun. We want to move to Jupiter. See, crazy we are. How whatever crazy we are. We just want to play with public, play with everyone. I mean to say, we have to do our job. That job is engineering, which says you have to think, you have to plan, you have to do, and if you find problems, you have to act. It's all risk. All risk. You say, I started this project, but weather did not support me. It's your problem. You have to, if you got this, you have to do it. And you have no right to complain to someone. Similarly, I would say engineers have got no right to complain to someone, because you should have known before going to school of education that what you would be civil engineer, what's the job of civil engineer. This way you did not a job of civil engineer. They have to work, it's a job. If I work for 73 or 4 days continuously for concrete floor, I don't do any obligation on someone. It's my job. That's true, job. And this continuation is your job requirement. It's not your requirement even. It's not your personal requirement. It is job requirement. And you have to go without sleep for 2 more days. That could be. Sometimes difficult works, difficult terms pinch everybody. Let it pinch. I don't want to spoil name of quality in our country. I also understand our country has no quality system. That is only paperwork we have, not a real one. How people respect requirements, I know very well. There is no control, nothing. And if you don't control anything, you simply say, we have done it, we have done it, we have done it. That is rubbish part of our conduct. Rubbish part, I can say. Analysis, synthesis are directly proportional to each other. Thinking is root of everything, and application ultimately is called engineering. Non-conformance is not acceptable, but which is not conformance? What is non-conformance? Do you know that? Why we call it non-conformance or not non-compliance, and we reject it, or we raise one you can say document that's called non-conformance report, and we find something on that. There are some lapse in system, there are some lapse in quality understanding, or there are some lapse in doing quality, achieving quality. It may be a very small item, but item be small, item be big. Why should go against quality system? Quality system we call because it's not quality alone. There's so much involved in quality. Quality means a combination of siting, design engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, services engineering, plus whatever else we can define, we can declare. Non-conformance is clear slap on the body of engineer. You don't know what you have done. You did not know what you had to do. But you said, I done it. It's not engineering. You just want to prove how efficient I am doing this. No. Non-conformance means engineer is either careless or ignorant or incompetent one, and therefore is redundant person. Redundant completely, because you just want to jump into air. There's no bird sitting. There's nothing except you have to hang that somewhere. There's no other way. Therefore, my dear friends, quality is not just because I say quality is very basic in construction, in engineering, everywhere, and must be taken care of. As somebody says, I have to check everything. Yes, you have to check everything. What's wrong with that? You have to check everything as civil engineer. That's your duty. But even if you don't check it, you say our work is over. How can you say work is over without checking, without inspection? That's what I say. Quality flopped. There are divisions everywhere in projects, and everybody has defined responsibility. And if there exists no defined responsibility, you have to define that. You have to share your part and give others to other parts. That is very much important. We have to understand all this. What say? We have to blame ourselves for quality failure, no one else. Because you are paying someone about quality and quantity, not about quantity only. Quality is an integral part of every good, every work. There is no means of isolation of system of quality or quality attained itself. Therefore, my approach is very different, not from today. It has been for long. In fact, I consider myself not as an engineer, but as an investigator. Engineering means quality application and continuous improvement of quality is required. Just like we say professional development of everybody, I say quality development of everybody. Ignorance of quality means ignorance of engineering. You may cheat yourself. You may cooperate with someone in fake world. That doesn't happen. That shouldn't happen. No way exists not to comply with. No way. Engineering means quality, and there is no way that exists not to comply with defined or specified quality labels, because definition of quality is a must, and that definition requires to be achieved, or else work leads to status of being unsuccessful, to be reformed. I say analysis, remember analysis all time. It's not simply analysis of forces. It's analysis in every topic, every subject. Analysis. Very important point. We can't go without that. We can't go without that, without analysis, without thinking. Thinking should be your property. Thinking should be your power. Thinking means concentrating on every issue many times. And then that issue becomes your own. I've seen people, they are ignorant, that's not their fault, they can be told, they can be taught. But what about those who are having designs, who are having engineering degrees? They only speak so superficially and they don't give perfect solutions. That is very much required that you must have perfect solutions. And if that doesn't happen, you can't move forward. Thinking is very important. So, what happened? Because COVID-19, safety are very important. I explained many times. I don't explain that. Being engineers, being social leaders, we should worry about health of people. Because if people's health deteriorate, I won't be safe also. You won't be safe. We have to understand this. There are many activities that are required, that are defined in engineering. We have to follow them, we have to do them. And our main material in engineering world which is, you can say, concreting, pouring concrete. You see, you have to design sometime concrete itself. You have to design concrete for changing its conduct, changing its various relations, import-export relations. It doesn't mean import means sit down and import or no. Requirement is one part, doing is another part. And when requirement is not met, it's a question mark. Why requirement has not been met? If somebody says, engineers check everything, so what? You have to check. That's why you are there. What for otherwise? What's your purpose? You have to make sure that you have to you have to learn first. That's problem that you don't want to learn. Only people who have exposure to learning, they are better in every field. Keeping aside money issue, sometimes money you can't bargain and you don't get. This happens. It's not your fault. It's the fault of society in which you live. This is part of system in which you live. Life is not physical living. You have to use your mind for development of this world. That is life. It's not simple that I have a good job, I am making good money, I have my good family, and my life is okay. That is selfish life. First you have to think for life of all people, irrespective of caste, irrespective of religion, irrespective of something else. You remember that everybody has to survive. Everybody has to drink water. Do we think about that? We never think that. That's also a point of concern. Why don't we think that? Are we not like that? Why? So what I say, if we consider engineering from quality and safety viewpoint, and we decide we have to do like this, that decision is very important. We do like this, and we do on reverse outside, on floor ourselves. We have spoiled everything. Dust has spoiled everything. So point is not that, point is different one. ITPs are there, list is there, everything is there. We had discussion also on this, long discussions. We have gone through many methods, many procedures, and all generally come into your life when you are on projects somewhere else. You can see we have gone through a lot in this last time. I think we have gone through much of this. I was somewhere else. I think it was we was talking of very important issue. Yes, it is important issue, and it was one was compressors, structures, RCC column plates, inserts, and other one is pouring massive block concrete. I would like to draw attention to these very important items. Important in fact. If you see some diagram, I think, let me see if there's some diagram available. This is permit to work and tools. I want to show you that sketch. Let me go to the other one. It's not seen directly. That is, I think, somewhere here. Compound compressor foundation. Yes, it is there. Compressor foundation one is, and other one is traffic of pipe trench, cable trench, foundation grout, water reservoir. Now, I'll be I'm going to discuss about this. About this, and of course, about this as well. So I'll be back in 10 minutes time, because you can see meanwhile this is very important method statement. I have to give up this. you might have seen by now, this compressor foundation diagram. This diagram that I am showing to you is very important one. Very important one in the way that this is not simple foundation, but it is very, very important from viewpoint, because you can say this is ground, you may say this is massive block foundation here, and on top of that there are columns here. You can see this is foundation plan. Here this is this line, you can see this line. This is compressor tabletop, and these are columns, which are this one 8 or whatever number, and there is one axis of rotation here, axis of rotation, that's of machine. So there are two axes in both directions. This is important, and that is technical design, and we say axis of machine and axis of foundation should be same, but it doesn't happen in such a massive project or foundation. Actually there are three structures in this, massive block is real foundation below ground, then there are columns which are superstructural, just below ground, and also there is a tabletop which is beam frame. This is not universal, but for heavy machines such designs can be affected, and there are some safety issues in this requirements. It says excavation to 3 meter deep, 3 meter depth, you can say. All excavation shall be having certain safety requirements. There will be excavation safety, whatever it is, means people should not fall into this. There should be barricading around, warning tapes around, and if it's a public location, there should be reflector lights. Depth is more, there should be some, you can say, ramps as well. And also you have to provide ingress and egress means of ladders, aluminum ladders. Whatever excavation safety is necessary in such cases should be provided by site people and should be ensured by safety personnel. Then there would be requirement of some soil improvement in case it is, I'm not saying, but in case this is required, we have to excavate more and improve soil by removing that over excavated soil, fill with granular mix or granular soil, duly compacted, so that soil improvement is affected. Then there is blinding concrete safety required, and also concrete protection safety required, because we have to protect RCC also from impact of chemicals in soil or soil water mobility related impacts, related chemicals, minerals, and soil, water, soil or soil water mobility effect. Chemical constituents effects, for example sulfates available in soil, that can impact on your foundation, for which you have to provide concrete protection, and whatever safety is required in concrete protection you have to provide. It's not only safety of concrete protection, we have to say then there's a massive block foundation we have to provide, for which safety of formwork, reinforcement, placement, and whatever else is required, all we have to take care of. Massive block foundation means your formwork can be moved by using cranes or can be by some other methods, prefabricated formworks from yard or from one location to another location, or it can be fabricated on site itself. When you fabricate on site itself, you install saw, electric saw, and cut the pieces, and also uses hammers and grinders and whatever tools you install. You must have safety. Your people must understand safety from all these tools, power tools and others. That is massive block foundation. We will pour that one. Then safety procedures required for that pouring also. You have then thick columns, safety required because there are thick columns about this massive block. These are thick means dimension is more than 800 mm least dimension, and height could be 8 meters or 9 meters depending on design. So thick columns, safety required. It's of course formwork. We have to insert in steel plates and tanks. We have to consider fabrication of that structural element as well as fixing them to formwork and erection. So you can say safety procedures required for thick columns. Then we have to take care of tabletop safety procedures required. Perimeter working platform at all levels means wherever you are working around this structure, you require install temporary works which will be used as working platforms around at all levels, access to all levels through stairs. Means temporary stairs made of plywood with steps and rises, not simply ladders. So we have to take care of that. Then method for traffic circulation means maybe we have to take our excavator down to pit or shovel or some other machine for whatever purpose. We have to take care of circulation of that traffic. We have to keep people there for precautionary measures that machine does not hit anyone. This means traffic circulation during massive concrete pouring required. Concrete protection safety required on all above ground concrete in line to manufacturer's instruction. That is in brief I can say. So you can say this is structure number 1, massive block. This is structure number 2, columns, thick columns, and this is structure number 3, compressor tabletop, which is you can say like this. This is tabletop in which there are openings, and this is with columns here and below level, and these are columns whatever numbers, that's not question here. And there is compressor base frame, which space between this frame and tabletop shall be poured with epoxy, grouted with epoxy. And then also you can say that's general. These are openings for various purposes. So in fact this is actually beam, you may say like this. It is something, and here you may say in this column you'll find this design which you see here. You can see here, this is the column. You can say this is column, and here are plate inserts, steel plate, steel tanks. These are tanks, and these are steel plates both welded together in structural yard or in wherever we have located this. And if you see vertically, let us say this is 9 meters column. This is your plate, you can say 20 or 200 wide and 9 meters deep, 200 wide, 200 mm, and 9 meters deep. And the spacing of 50 centimeter, half meter, we provide tanks with half spacing at top and half spacing at bottom. These tanks are provided with steel fabrication, jointly done, and then this plate, fabricated plate with tanks, in all columns of compressor foundation inserted. Steel plate is fixed on shutters and forms and erected. What purpose it is, it is extra steel, must have some purpose to keep sides more effective. There may be more, you can say, impacts from machine, because impact should be limited. You cannot say that. You can say operating frequency is just equalized by, you can say, thanking scheme at night. I forgot that, but it happens. So this is column inserts, you can say. These are plates, inserts. These are plates with a fabricate and put on site. This was what was intended. Now I'll go to some statement on this count, and that's compressor structures, RCC column plate inserts. We just brief on this. Compressors structures, RCC column plate inserts. First of all, these plates I'm talking, because this is very important material in columns, thick columns. Of course, reinforcement bars already there, but we have to strengthen sides. I think that would keep it more intact. There's no other purpose of this. So we say compressors structures, RCC column plates inserts. It's a big deal. In case how to do it. We have statement here. Index is same, no change. Purpose is different. Purpose is what? We have to see scope. We define scope. Which case you have to say you have to insert these tanks and spillette in column sides, so that this can be taken out or used in practical world. Purpose of this method statement is to define sequence of engineering activities, construction activities, you can say, that shall be implemented, prosecuted for permanent inclusion within RCC thick columns, in addition to reinforcing bars, fabricated metallic plates, inserts to support compressor tabletop structures. It's beautiful. What it says, purpose of this declaration or statement is to define sequence of engineering activities, sequence of conducting engineering activities, I should say, conducting or carrying out engineering activities that shall be implemented or prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC thick columns, in addition to purpose of this method statement is to define sequence of construction engineering activities that shall be implemented or prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC thick columns, in addition to reinforcing bars, prefabricated metallic plates, inserts to support compressor tabletop structures. Means we wanted surface of column to be well organized. We have to discuss this. Very simple. Metallic plates we have to do, and it's not that difficult. It's easy one. Even then, explanation is more important. It be easy or it not be easy, may not be easy, that is different. But we have to explain this. There may be contact documents which we have to refer, and these could be drawings. References not included here. This would be specifications related to concrete, structural steel, formwork, etc. So my dear, specification of concrete items, all relevant specifications, whatever is there, the specification of steel plates and tanks, related specifications, or you can say structural steel, you may call it, and whatever else is required for concrete pour or specific for, we have to refer all that. Now there are certain definitions that we can say in general titles hold certain definitions. And we know that project director, project site manager, we call them project leader, you can call them project director, project site manager, project leader, all that. Now, in this case, project director, project site manager, project leader, construction site manager, site leader, office engineer, construction superintendent, project engineer, site engineer, general foreman, quality control, safety officers, and many more. Those who work in offices, they are different. The office engineer is there, and there are so many other people, quality control itself. So we can say these titles play important role because there are responsibilities attached to each and every title. We can say PD is project director, PSM is site manager, CSM is construction site manager. You can say O is office engineer, CA is construction superintendent or project engineer equivalent, site SC is site engineers, GFM general foreman, FM is foreman, OQC is quality controls. So is safety officer. There is a general indicative one. This is not means kind more than that can help. Whatever you can provide as far as act is concerned, responsibility is concerned, it works well. So we can say PD, PSM shall control overall operations in all respects, including cost and budget, pertinent site organization, management and control. That's one part. Project director, project site manager shall condition and paste latest problem. CM site through PDM or PDS, construction managers through construction director, project director, PSM, project site manager are equated to create value. CM shall through PS, PDS, PS7 procurement arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for prosecution and implementation of ongoing. So we can say CM shall through PD, PSM and procurement arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for prosecution and implementation of ongoing operations activities whatsoever. Office engineer shall coordinate all engineering designs and site engineering activities whenever demands of whether concrete or only. You can say office engineer shall coordinate all this engineering designs and site engineering activities whenever demands of whatever clashes or basis operate. I will say and we have to say office engineer is there to solve issues technically and no work should stop at site. Construction superintendent shall coordinate, control, monitor and accurate site activities. Then we have to see CS, that's construction superintendent, shall coordinate, control, monitor, and direct SC, GFM, and FM, and workforce for operations in relation to distribution of resources and all engineering related issues. Site engineer shall be responsible for running and implementation of all site operations and follow instructions given by CS or CM and say therefore. You can say SC shall be responsible for running and implementation of all site operations activities and follow instructions given by CS, CM or at such time engineer or representative. GFM, the general foreman, shall actually lead all excavation operations by directing all foremen and operation methods. So we can say GFM shall actually lead all execution operations by directing all foremen and workforce as necessary from time to time depending on requirements on site and to utilize on an optimum basis use of whatever available resources. FM's foreman shall prosecute work in line to assembly requirement. Then we may say FMC will execute operations, replying workforce and instruct in full. In medium of language, work persons understand about all required measures, conduct start toolbox talks every day and every check ensure that instructions are complied with. Of course, QC shall inspect all all disciplines. Says no. And then say QC shall inspect all operations according to specifications and ITP requirements. This is basics. This is very much basics. Responsibilities and duties, but these are not unlimited. This can be expanded also. You can write whatever you think is more important in that than what I specified. There's no bar. If you think that works, you can write. Otherwise, no use of writing just for sake of writing. When we say safety, it's a brief here. It's not exemplary, it's not elaborative, it's just a brief related to method. And it's just a brief, and it should be understood like that. It says, add all your requirements to following description. Safety officer shall monitor all daily activities being conducted or carried on site, advising and implementing all safety measures or procedures. If some measures are observed missing, site engineer's duty it is to implement all safety measures, and safety guy would make sure that whatever has been arranged, it complies with specification. Then, prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card toolbox talk. On project safety, site requirements respecting involved item activity. What is that? I say start card toolbox talk. Start card is something given in writing. A card is given to a person, and many requirements are there which that person has to fulfill, or otherwise toolbox talk would replace start card if it can successfully work. Toolbox means whatever activity you have got in, those persons placed on site, deployed on site on that day, should know how to best use this equipment, what is best way not to let this energy go away. Now we'll say toolbox talk. For example, there's some hammer, some drill, some grinder, which are electrical power operated, and we have to teach them how to use them. We have to let them use hacksaw, let them use saw, whatever tools are required on site for particular activity requires to be spread in all site areas. It has therefore been undiplomatic, which these people understand very well. Then we may say that where is a process that involves a particular safety risk, it shall be calculated by job hazard assessment. Job hazard assessment, which is GHA, we can say, or you may say job hazard analysis based on performance and necessary measures adopted to address risk issued, so that included measures comply to real requirements standard. We may say that process involving a particular safety risk shall be calculated based on job hazard assessment, job hazard assessment necessary measures adopted to address risk issue, so that included measures comply to real requirements stands. Next verse. We can say then only competent personnel shall be engaged to carry out a specific operation, and those personnel shall use all necessary safety related PPEs required for all pertinent activities. Ample availability of water should be available. Ample means of water, you can say, should be available on site for workers as well drink those issues. So it is now another compressor, same compressor, but we are just telling safety issues. Means water should be available for all purposes on site, and safety officers shall ensure all those persons who work on shift activities should be fully aware of safety regulations, obligations, and implementation expected of them. Hence, all emergency procedures for first aid shall be explained to everyone. All equipment tools that shall be required are forthwith Lord hearing himself. All equipment tools that shall be required to operate on site must always be in full working order with provisions of appropriate lighting wherever exposed. Now I'll go to method, what we have to do in this. That is very much important. I'm lazy today. Yawning, lazy, I don't know why. Let me open the door of my house. It says it's a method and there's a sketch is referred to in this. and that sketch I think is same like this sketch 60, and this sketch is 60A, and this sketch is 12, and there is another one I think it's giving 20. 20 is full layout of plant you have seen many times. Now it says cut and band all reinforcing bars. For design requirements in line to BVS, which document must give cut lengths in accordance with the applicable shape code under BS 8866 or old BS 4466. If in use, though it has been obsolete, starter bars must have been placed in massive block concrete before concreting for massive block. Now we say bending and cutting of bars very important in this instance, and we have to use this. Cut bars very important. Cut length automatically calculated on worksheet. You just feed formula and feed dimensions. They write A, B, C, D like sometimes, and they use that for purpose of generating this direct column. But we place and fix, starter bars must have been placed in massive block concrete before concreting for massive block. Place and fix, let me see better. I'll go and take some water as well and come back. Hold on please, I'm just coming back. I can't stand. सारों से क्या होगा? Sorry, so I was back. I'm back now. We have to take care of starter bars of column. The starter bars must have been placed in massive block concrete before concreting for massive block. Place and fix columns now. We have to fix columns steel. We have to place and fix column reinforcement at required design locations in line according to design details for deviation. Very important point is this column reinforcements you are going to place is of course maybe around 32 dia, which is big one, and overlap is a question mark here. We have to be very careful and see drawings details intellectually because it's not simply theoretical. What is important is what is important here is there are two ways that column bars must be in position real column, of course, and we have to make sure that columns that are within foundation. Now question is either you provide mechanical connectors if both bars, super bars and starter bars, are in same line, or overlap is a requirement. Either of these two. When I was there, it was very old time. You may say 2001 probably. 2000, I think not one, it is 2000. In 2000, though there was availability of connectors, mechanical connectors, but because this was a different type of work, what they did not say, they just kept in drawing itself two details in drawings. One is for starter bars and other is for super bars, column bars. So because of size of bars, there was no question of bending bars for overlap. No, it was not permitted. You can say drawing itself showed two locations. In fact, column bars were shown in right location. Whereas starter bars were shown offset from real locations with different sizes of rings. Means they accepted offsetting starter bars from real position and keeping with overlap, of course, main column bars, superstructure or super level above ground. This is different detailing because these bars could not be bent as we usually do, that we have bent this bar and make overlap. No, that was not accepted in that case. It was not ordinary structure. It's very, very important structure. I just tried to explain here. I did not write in this because I forgot, but it can be written, no problem. I will in next post, in next consideration, maybe we talk about this again. I'll do that. Now starter bars must have been placed in massive block concrete before concreting for massive block. Then place and fix column reinforcement at required design locations in accordance to design details as I explained. There is no offset in column reinforcement. Make all full column height. You have to fix all these bars full column height. Fabricated forms ready for installation in each and every respect. One bar cut to that size, that is You can say 9 meter high. Of course, some horizontal piece at top and down is overlap. So 32 itself is more than 150, 1500, 32 mm. If you multiply 5, since say about 1600 mm. So 1600 mm below overlap, and you may say 2 meters approximately. Let's say 1600 and 400 there top, 2 meters itself, and 9 meters high, so 11 meters. You may say 12 meters is general length of a bar. So either you have to fix full, you have to design that way, or you have to use full bar. Of course, some portion will go into your top frame, about 9 meters height of column, which shall go above, also maybe into beam itself it will go. So you may say approximately whole length of bar is adjusted in this case. You have to think in different modes. It's not exactly what drawing says, but we have to use common sense also while executing jobs. So it says make all full column height fabricated forms ready for installation in each and every respect. Mark locations on column forms side plates so that holes could be drilled for nuts and bolts. Insertion with steel plates. Means we got fabricated steel plates with steel tanks, and we have to fix these steel plates to column forms, for which we have to drill holes in forms, and already holes are there in plate. How many are there? It depends on design. And on same locations you have to drill holes in timber, in, you can say, column formwork, and then you have to fix those forms to sides with these nuts and hexa nuts or whatever it is. And once you do that, means your form is ready. Now your form is not form work alone, but form work with steel plate inserts in all directions. So mark locations on column forms side plates so that holes could be drilled for nuts and bolts insertion with steel plate. Drill holes on marked locations on form 2 sides or 4 sides, I think 4 sides, not 2 sides, in line according to attached sketch to receive insert holding bolts. Now QC inspection to be conducted for this. QC inspection to be conducted to ensure correct location of insert plates fixed with tanks. Fixed column insert plates, assembly on fabricated forms and bolts fastened per sketch. Which sketch is that? You have seen that. This is a sketch. You can see here all 4 sides there are this steel plates and tanks. This is 20 or 200 wide, and whatever you can say depth is there. First one, second one, like that you go on fixing, and you will find all 500 mm. This means you have to fix here. This somewhere drills are shown because already tanks are here, so somewhere here maybe, here maybe, it could be here, or you can say here, like this. 4 or 3 or 4 are enough, adequate for purpose of fixing, because you can see weight of this steel plates how much. It's 9 meters by 0.2 meter, and maybe I think how much thickness, maybe it's not more than 5 mm or 3 mm, let's say 5 mm. So you can find weight of this 9 into 1.8 square meter, 1.8 square meter, and thickness, let us say 5 mm, or let's say 1 centimeter, doesn't matter for calculation purpose. So this is 1.8 into 0.01, 1.8 into 0.01, 18, 2 and 3, or 0.01 cubic meter. So you can multiply it by 0.8. You will find weight of this plate plus tanks you have to calculate. So this is not very heavy, but still it should remain in position. That's the important point. It should remain in position. So here you can say भी कर दिया उसने यार। So fixed column inserts plates assembly on fabricated forms and bowls fastened per sketch. Then erect all forms plate in column mark position. Provide supports, all sides well secured, and check all sides of column sections, locations of columns, heights and plumb at many vertical locations. For height of this column may be around 8 meter or more. This is what is to be done in this case, and we have to do like that. Erect, you can say erect all forms plates in, again I say erect all forms plates in column mark position. Provide supports, all sides well secured, and check all sides of column sections, locations of columns, heights and plumb at many vertical locations. For height of this columns may be around 8 meter or more. Have all works approved through QR engineer and from engineer. Prepare for pouring concrete by providing all temporary accessible temporary structures. Prepare for pouring concrete by providing all temporary accessible temporary structures from circulatory area, so that no problem could exist for smooth pouring. Place with RMC delivery order, concrete delivery order, spring batching plant, all requirement. I think some error. Place with RMC delivery order for concrete from batching plant. So some error. I'll see what starts. Spring, there should no spring at all. I think typing error. Batching plant all requirements giving, I think, or advising, I think. Maybe it is apprise batching plant. I think there's some error here. Apprise batching plant all requirements, temperature, schedule, etc. Sometimes when you type yourself, some error happens and I can't. So just apologize for that. It's not spring. I think it's a price. A price batching plant. All all requirements, temperature, slump, schedule, etc. साला फालतू की क्यों कौन करते हैं यार, यही काम है मतलब. So we say place with RMC, delivery order for concrete, apprising batching plant, all requirements, temperature, slump, schedule, etc. Carry out concrete pour, all in accordance to thick member pour applications. What to do, we have already told about how to proceed with when you receive concrete truck from batching plant and pump is already there. You have to conduct various tests on site. You have to do all that. You have to make access to pump on site in best possible way. You have to give access to your truck mixers and conduct your site tests. And once you pour all this, then you can say, having pour beam over, having concrete pour beam over, before striking forms threaded, bolts be taken out. Later holes left should be required to be filled with galvanized threaded rod 15 mm long. So this equipment, in this case fabricated plates with threaded holes, pins and bolts. Actually this is fabricated assembly. It's already delivered from workshop. It's not an equipment but it's a material. Then the mobile crane, concrete pump, transit mixers, batching plant, and there are sketches. We have seen this. Means it's the exclusive explanations for this assembly, how it should be done. Inserts in all columns of compressor foundations, steel plate. So you have to know what we actually try to understand in this case, how to handle work of thick column, because these are not only columns alone, these have to protect sides of columns from being cracked. So you may say these steel plates and tanks may act also in a way to protect for crack formation as well as wear and tear to some extent of surface of concrete, because it shall not be plastered but it shall be treated by epoxy paint, probably both tabletop, beam frame and columns, whereas top surface of beam frame shall be grouted, epoxy grouted, and possibly bottom or top of foundation may also be grouted. Now we move further to another continuation of same statement. but it's different one, number is different, and it is cracked gas compressor, massive foundation, concrete pour. We are talking about concrete pour of foundation. I will meanwhile close these. I keep this, I close this one, columns are closed, and quality requirement, this is building plans, I think this quality we talked of, so I can say this is what we are talking. I put this off also, no need of this, right? Well, okay, no problem. Now index is same, and we're talking of one compressor, this is called crack gas compressor, and we are talking of how to pour concrete of that foundation. Though it's whole foundation, this tabletop itself is called foundation. For purpose of compressor, it's a big vibratory equipment. Yet this is footing, you may say, massive block footing, foundation, a big block, which you can say also acts as a design for machine. Weight of this foundation, if it is 500 cubic meters, say, maybe whatever, let us say 2.5 cubic meter, 2.5 tons per cubic meter, you can see weight of this block. Let us to dampen vibrations and also keep stable system, whole system of machine, because we have to find later operating frequency and natural frequency, operating frequency of machine, which shall be provided by manufacturer of machine, and we have to find natural frequency of foundation and soil system. We consider soil also there. So foundation and soil system, which is all this machine foundation quantity, and convert it to weight, mass. We have to see what is status of our amplitude, whether our operating frequency and natural frequency, what relations they have got. That's most important. Operating frequency and divided by natural frequency, or operating frequency or natural frequency, difference in their values, or you can say division of each other, should be between 0.5 and 2. Now it should not be equal. You should not say this is 0.1 and this is 0.1, or this is 0.5 or this is 0.5. Difference is not acceptable. So what we say now, we have to pour this concrete. That's purpose of this statement. So what it says, purpose of this, we are talking about this first. Let me clear again. We are talking of this massive block. We are going to pour this. That's what it says, what it requires. Purpose of this method statement is to define sequence of engineering activities for concrete pouring that shall be implemented, prosecuted for permanent inclusions within RCC massive foundation block, in addition to reinforcing bars, cathodic protection inserts, columns, starters, reinforcing bars to support compressor tabletop structures. What is actually that I am talking about? It is a heavy vibratory equipment that is called cracking gas compressor. Very heavy vibratory equipment, turbine type probably. Cracking gas compressor tabletop shall found on it. Shall form is it will act as foundation for this tabletop. Foundation for this footing which we are talking of. We are going to pour. Shall act as a real foundation for structure of tabletop. A heavy vibratory equipment cracking as compressor tabletop shall found on it through thick columns in dynamic mode, transmitting working vibrations to amplitude to it, which forces this foundation would be required to dampen. First, foundation shall be considered to be massive block element. This foundation shall be considered to be a massive block element, which means that during concrete pouring, temperature controls must apply, cracking prevention controls must apply, curing controls must apply, and overall pouring controls must apply. Because this is machine foundation, it must have certain natural frequency which must be balanced, not equal, must be balanced, either high or below, but not same. So, consideration of massive block element, which means concrete pour is very important in this case. All controls must be realized, and if you fail to do that, you cannot say that it's quality concrete. Now, what we have to do, we have documents here. Certain documents we have specifications related to concrete, related to formwork, related to reinforcing bars, and related to cathodic protection, related to many other issues we have. We have to refer to all those for everything. Then we have drawings. We are not giving any reference here because this is just based on the memory. This is drawing, reference not indicated. And again, they are same positions as we said before: project director, project site manager, project leader, construction site manager, site leader, office engineer, construction superintendent, project engineer equivalent, site engineer, general foreman, quality control, safety officer, etc. Responsibilities. Project director, project site manager shall control overall operations in all respects, including cost and budget, pertinent site organizations, management, and control. CM shall, through PD or PSM and procurement, arrange resources required accordingly and act overall responsible for prosecution and implementation of ongoing operations, activities whatsoever. Office engineer shall coordinate all engineering designs and site engineering activities whenever demands of whatever clashes or conflict is received from site so as to solve all issues technically, and no work should stop at site. No work should stop at site. Construction superintendent shall coordinate, control, monitor, and direct site engineer, general foreman, and foreman, and workforce for operations in relation to distribution of resources. So we say site engineer shall be responsible for running and implementation of all site operations and follow instructions given by construction superintendent, construction manager, etc., and engineer's representative. General foreman shall actually lead all execution operations by directing all foremen and workforce as necessary from time to time, depending on requirements, so that then we can say here foreman shall execute operations deploying workforce and instruct in full in medium of language work persons understand about all required measures, conduct start card toolbox stock every day, and check ensure that instructions are followed up regularly. Then we can say QC shall inspect all operations according to specification ITB requirements. Now safety brief. Oh. This is just brief, but you can add all requirements to these descriptions. There is no bar. Safety officers shall monitor all daily activities being conducted or carried out on site, advising and implementing all safety procedures if some measures are observed missing. If some measures are observed missing. Prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card, toolbox stock on project safety site requirements respecting involved item activity. Processes shall include Safety officers shall monitor all daily activities being conducted or carried out on site, advising and implementing all safety procedures if some measures are missing, observed missing. Prior to commencement of whatever activity, workforce shall receive a start card, toolbox talk on project safety, site requirements respecting involved item activity. Process involving a particular safety risk shall be calculated by job hazard assessment JHA. and necessary and necessary measures adopted to address risk issue so that included measures comply to real requirements standards. Only competent personnel shall be engaged to carry out specific operation. Personnel shall use all necessary safety related PPEs required for all pertinent activities. Ample, ample availability of water should be available, should be, ample quantity of water should be available on site for workers as well as for all other purposes. Safety officer shall ensure all those persons who work on shift activities should be fully average. Safety officers shall ensure all those persons who work on shift activities should be fully aware of safety obligations and implementation expected of them. All equipment tools, emergency process for first turn shall be explained to everybody. All equipment tools that shall be required to operate on site must always be in full working order, with provisions of appropriate lighting here wherever required. Now, preparatory works. Preparatory works. Now, following main activities shall be involved for this foundation. That is what we are saying, main activities. It is setting out to required coordinates at all corners to be used for excavation. We have to set out everything. Setting out the required coordinates, all corners to be used for excavation. Marking all areas including external working offsets for purpose of foundation, excavation and circulation areas for ease of construction. Recording all existing reduced levels from site within areas to be covered for excavation. Reconfirmation regarding all survey activities if You may say setting out to required coordinates all corners to be used for excavation, marking all areas including external working offsets for purpose of foundation excavation and circulation areas for ease of construction. You can see that in sketch if you have. I think I should show you that. Let us see what's no, it's not that. It's not that. Well, you see, we are seeing this. It's a plan here. This is a plan here. We need area around somewhere for working, or even for ramp. We can. It depends. We have to take area here. Marking all areas including external working offsets for purpose of foundation, excavation and circulation areas for ease of construction. Recording all existing reduced levels from site. All reduced levels that are existing have to be recorded. Now within area to be recorded for excavation, now record all existing reduced levels from site within areas to be recorded forward for excavation. Reconfirmation regarding all survey activities to determine accuracy, since no changes on setting out should be permissible due to implementable proposed runnings utility around foundations which are comprised of heavy piping network. QC inspection to be conducted to allow release of excavation. QC inspection to be conducted to allow release for excavation. Excavations in earthwork in depth more than 2 meters, resorting to all precautions and barricading and movement of excavator in trucks from and to reach to trench. Excavation with simultaneous removal or transport of excavated materials and now excavation with simultaneous removal, transport of excavated material to stockpiles area for further processing. Right? Excavation with simultaneous removal, transport of excavated materials to stockpile areas for further processing. Continuous monitoring excavation size and levels by surveyor. Continuous monitoring excavation size and levels by surveyor. Oh my god, my leg's spinning. What to do? That's the problem with me. Continuous monitoring excavation size and levels by surveyor. If formation doesn't meet strength capacity requirement or bearing capacity requirement, additional excavation to accommodate soil improvement by structural fill to be carried out. In case soil improvement is done by structural fill. Layers shall be compacted to define a minimum 98% FDD. Preparation of formation. Preparation of formation for application of soil formation compaction, duly FDD tested. Preparation for blinding concrete on compacted formation by fixing prefabricated blinding stops shown around setting out line mark. Carrying out blinding concrete to approved procedure, followed by curing for a minimum 2 or 3 days. Application of concrete protection by specialist crew. Application of concrete protection by specialist crew, followed by application of protection screed. QP inspection to be conducted for release for foundation preparatory activities. Fabrication of steel rebars and deliveries to site locations duly tagged for easy identification. Fabrication of foundation side formworks based on proprietary designs delivered by specialist vendor in line to satisfactory structural calculations respecting concrete hydraulic forces. Fabrication of foundation side formwork based on proprietary designs delivered by specialist vendor in line to satisfactory structural calculations respecting concrete hydraulic forces. Placing steel bars for lower side of in correct locations in line according to as well. Then we can say placing steel bars for lower side in correct locations in line according to structural drawing designs. Placing chairs suitable to requirements. Placing steel chairs suitable to requirements fabricated out of heavy steel bars to support upper layers of rebars. Placing steel bars for upper side in correct location in line according to structural drawings designs. Placing steel bars for upper sides in correct locations in line according to structural drawings designs. Placing all column rebars dowels for superstructural columns pertinent tabletop. Erection, installation, fixing formworks to foundation sides in line according to setting out line marks. Then we can say placing steel bars for upper side in correct location in line according to structural drawings designs. Placing all columns rebars dowels for superstructural columns pertinent to tabletop. Erection installations, fixing formworks to foundation sides in line according to setting out line marks. Fixing cathodic protection anodes to exact locations within foundations and welding them. Fixing of stainless steel C-clamps and GI wire ropes to main steel reinforcing bars around foundation in Critical cathodic protection shall be provided for such a heavy foundation with a now critical cathodic protection shall be provided for such a heavy foundation in line to design provisions, and electrical continuity test shall be conducted for records and submission. Continuous QC inspection should be conducted for all ongoing activities sequence when all preparatory works, including temporary works and permanent works, still. Then we can say critical cathodic protection shall be provided for such a heavy foundation in line to design provisions. Electrical continuity test shall be conducted for records and submission. QC inspection shall be conducted for all ongoing activities when all preparatory works including temporary works are ready. QC inspection should be conducted for obtaining concrete pour approval. After concrete pour approval is obtained, following procedure shall be adopted or implemented for further concrete activities. Here is one calculation that shows about this size. Let's say port size is 20 into 15 to 2 meters, which is 600 cubic meter approximately. Yes, I see that. So we have a quantity here which is 600 cubic meter approximately. Core plan is, that is in strips, which you can see here, that is this much. These are strips, these are strips, and there is section, you can see 1 to 50 strips are there in layers, 5 layers in each section, and this is 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 60. It is 60 steps, 60 layers. It is 60 layers. Sequence of steps shown in attached details in numbers that I have shown. Time of pour commences say 7:30 or 8 a.m. Plants concrete pump 2 number. Batching plant full time 1 standby 1 number. Transit mixers 10 numbers 7 meter cube. Delivery continuous at 10 meters interval each truck. Pour duration 12 to 14 hours because it is 600 cubic meters, so it's like that. Delivery continuous at 10 minutes interval. Pour duration 10 to 14 hours. Equipment a vibrator, pneumatic diesel evaporator, 3 numbers, 2 numbers in use and 1 number standby, and 3 numbers usable if least 3 days. So we can say vibrator already there, standby as well as working. Now curing, which is thermal curing first immediately after pour is completed and shall continue for at least 3 days. Immediate post-pour standard method by using curing compound covered by polythene membrane. Post-pour set concrete by removing polythene, adding saturated Haitian, and again covering with polythene membrane and filling clean sand for 150 mm thick except within column portion, which shall be surrounded by small sand. So we have here water, then Haitian, then polythene sheet, about that polystyrene, and filled with 150 mm thickness sand. Sand shall be kept sprayed with water. Water supply by tank, full tank, to remain ready on site with more than 50 meters water hose. So manpower, in this case, foreman 2 number, steel fixer 8 number, and others are 80. We can say we have by this manpower we have foreman 2 number, steel fixer 8 number, carpenter 8 number, mason 16 number, helper 22 number. All specifications requirements to be complied with, all activities to go on site. Now, all specifications requirements to be complied with, all activities to go on site. High slag blast furnace cement to BS4264 with 70% replacement, utilizing 30% ASTM C150 type 2 cement for use in massive concrete. Provision of such concrete based on supplementary cementing materials such as GGBS, that is glass granted blast furnace slag, cement replacement, sand assist. You can say slag cement replacement shall assist in delaying concrete temperature 24 degrees maximum and slump is 150.75 mm. On-site pouring, which is very important now. General pouring notes. On-site pouring shall be controlled, prosecuted to a defined indicative plan, details of which are included on attachment, and which is this attachment you can see. This is that attachment. You can read this. This is just indicative only, not exactly. This is telling you method how you do that. That you can see is this one. So on-site pouring shall be controlled, prosecuted to a defined indicative plan, details of which are included on attachment concrete pour plan. All activities shall be fixed time-wise for actual effect on site without causing any snag. Locations of concrete pumps, transit mixers, start points, follow-up points or pour intended directions, respecting concrete delivery and placement have been depicted on this plan. Each strip and its location vertically. Each strip and its location vertically. Then you can say all activities shall be fixed time wise for actual effect on site without causing any snag. Locations of concrete pump transit mixes, start points, follow up points are poured in intended directions respecting concrete delivery and placement have been depicted on plan. Each step and its location vertically have been indicated to follow such that no cold joints are allowed. Once a 2 meter wide layer 450 mm thick is poured, 400 actually it should be, once a 2 meter wide layer 400 mm thick is poured in direction of width, another layer shall be poured continuously as indicated on pour plan sequence or chart or matrix. As indicated or decided on chart, number sequence of pouring layers shall be complied with so that no cold joints are formed. Vibrator shall be applied in such a way that nozzle penetrates about 75 to 100 mm into lower laid layer or pre-sealed layer for interlocking between these two layers. Post-concrete pouring temperature shall be monitored by inserting maxima and minima for thermal gradient controls after concrete is set. During concreting temperature shall be measured so that it does not exceed 24 degrees Celsius. Ice shall certainly be added to concrete mix at batching plant during hot weather condition. Pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation. That is, here pouring means we are doing this way and that way. Both ways should be this way and that way. Pouring should be conducted from both ends of foundation. For precautionary measures, performed stop ends should be available to meet certain emergency requirement. When certain equipment pump is to So water shall be sprayed. You can see no break shall be allowed to pouring until it's completed, while crew shall be rotated to allow tired crew shall there will be rest pause and liquid consumptions. No break shall be allowed to pouring until it is completed, while crew shall be rotated to allow tired crew shall rest pause and liquid consumption. Water shall be sprayed on rebars and on forms to prevent flash setting prior to pouring commences with. It shall be ensured that cathodic protection equipment and node, stainless steel C clamps and GI wire top do not maintain. So we can say it shall be ensured that cathodic protection equipment, anode SC clamps, DI wire rope do not get damaged during pouring. Immediately after top layer is laid and finishing carried out, curing compound shall be sprayed over entire concrete surface, following covering with polythene sheet. After whole pouring is over, surface shall be wooden finish protected by polythene sheet placed over with polystyrene. So we can say, really, after whole pouring is over, you can say, after whole pouring is over, surface shall be wooden finished, protected by polythene sheet placed over with polystyrene boards, further covered with 150 sand layer over entire area of concrete for thermal curing. External sides shall be kept cold to maintain required temperature. Water shall be continuously poured over sand to keep top system cold, not allowing any transmission of heat either from surrounding or from massive block to environment. Observations regarding rising and falling thermometers or thermocouples shall be conducted to procedures for monitoring thermal gradient within concrete. Whole area shall be barricaded with no further work allowed until first 3 days heat curing. Thermal curing is completed to be followed by routine curing for defined number of say 14 days. When formwork is removed from sites on fourth day, close inspection shall be conducted during ensuring whether or not certain defects are noticed, and if defects are observed, these are observed. When formwork is moved from source day, close inspection shall be conducted, ensuring whether or not certain defects are noticed, and if defects are observed, remedial measures shall be agreed between contractor and engineer for application immediately. Surfaces shall be sprinkled with water, followed by application of curing compound. Routine water shall be applied on horizontal surface. Routine water shall be applied on horizontal surfaces continuously and preferable also to if applied to vertical side surfaces. Further activities pertinent thick columns may be commenced with them. Attachments are sketch, plan to pour, sectional sequence details of pour layer. So these are attachments here, these are attachments here, these are attachments here. That's what it is. So we can say we have gone through this, and I think it would work likewise, right? So this is plan we attached, we close this now. This is another plan we attached, we close this now. This also we close this now. This is quality requirement is talking of, and we can building plans now. We'll close it later. We'll talk of this quality as we said we talked of and relies on this. This is what it says. We close it now as well. So only left this quality requirement. I should say now it's only 3 hours or more. Better we close it as well. Things okay. Right. So we close this also.